We all know what sorrow feels like, right? It's just a part of life. But what if our deepest pain isn't the end of the story? What if there's a way through it? A path from our tears to a deeper truth? Well, today we're going to explore that very message of hope. I mean, really think about that for a second. Have you ever been so completely overwhelmed by grief, so lost in your own hurt, that you just couldn't see the good, the hope, the answer that was literally right there in front of you? It's a powerful question, and it's right at the heart of what we're talking about today. And to really get into this, we're going to look at the story of Mary Magdalene. Her experience on that first resurrection morning, well, it's just this timeless example of how our own sorrow can build a wall between us and the very thing we're so desperately looking for. I mean, just picture this scene. The sheer weight of Mary's grief is crushing. She's standing at an empty tomb, a place that's about to become the epicenter of a miracle. But all she can do is cry. The source material describes her as shedding many tears, probably too many tears. Her sorrow is so big, it's become her entire reality. And this is the critical point right here. Our suffering, and it is so real, so valid, it shouldn't be allowed to become this veil that hides the truth from us. The sources warn that if our tears cloud the truth, they become a real obstacle. Mary is desperately searching for Jesus, but the very tears she's crying are keeping her from seeing him. Now, Mary's search, it's not just her story from 2,000 years ago. It really speaks to this deep, universal longing that we all feel when we're lost. You know that feeling? That desperate search for comfort, for a sign, for God, right in the middle of our darkest times. This beautiful, ancient verse from the Song of Songs, it just perfectly captures that feeling, doesn't it? It's the voice of a soul just aching, searching through the night for the one it loves. That's the ache in Mary's heart. And you know what? It's the same ache we feel when we're searching and what we need most seems impossible to find. And this is how it connects directly to our lives. We are all at some point Mary at the tomb. We stand in front of our own empty places, our own losses, and we search for some sign of his presence, often blinded by the very pain that makes us search in the first place. But this is where everything changes. The story pivots right here. It's that incredible moment when the search ends. Not because the one searching finally finds, but because the one being sought calls out first. It's a moment of absolutely profound personal recognition. This is the promise that cuts right through all that despair. Even when you feel completely and utterly lost, when you think no one sees you in your pain, the truth is, you are seen, and you are known. One word. That's all it was. Not some huge, flashy miracle, not a chorus of angels, but the simple sound of her own name, spoken by a voice she loved. Jesus doesn't perform a sign. He makes a personal call. And in that one word, the fog of her grief just begins to lift. And this reveals such a powerful, living truth. He calls us by name to make one thing absolutely clear. He knows us intimately. He knows your specific pain, your individual struggle. Your suffering is never anonymous to him. He knows what you're going through. So the big question is, how do we get there? How do we go from being lost in our tears to hearing our own name called? Well, it's about shifting our focus. It's about learning to listen for his voice, even when the sound of our own sorrow is deafening. So what does that path really look like? Well, first, that personal call. His word, it cuts through the noise of our grief, just like it did for Mary. Second, it reminds us that we are deeply known, not forgotten. And that revelation of his presence, right there where we couldn't see him before, that is what finally truly turns our sorrow into a lasting joy and lets us move forward in peace. And all of this leads to the final amazing outcome. See, the goal isn't just to stop crying. It's to find a peace and a joy that doesn't depend on our circumstances. A joy that flows from that deep, incredible truth of being seen and known and loved by God. And so we can end with this simple, powerful plea, taken right from the source material. It's a prayer, but it's also a challenge for us. What if the very word that can dry our tears is just waiting for us to hear it? What if the key to turning our deepest sorrow into our greatest joy is simply learning to listen for our name?